Right, it's ESPN Cricket for Newsroom. I'm Shammo Dasgupta. And news is that Dinesh Karthik has stepped down as the captain of Kolkata Knight Riders. He's handed over the captaincy to EoinMorgan, now ready-made captaincy option in that team, of course. And Karthik said he wants to focus on his batting. Sambit Bal and Akash Chopra with me. Sambit, you first on the news. Immediate reactions. It almost seemed like it might have been on the cards.
I mean, it is a surprise. You can't. I don't think it was on the cards that way. But the thing is, like, you can understand the reasoning behind it. If you all things being equal, who do you want as your captain? You would obviously want Morgan as your captain, World Cup winning captain, somebody who's refashioned England's way of playing. And if you had to choose between Karthik and Morgan, it was a no-brainer. But you can understand why franchises want Indians as captains, right? Because they want that Indian player to play all 14 games, and they have flexibility if foreigner is not a captain. But in this case, Dinesh Karthik, you would argue that perhaps was Kolkata's hands were forced when Gautam Gambhir left. They didn't really have an ideal captain, so they made this. I think they took a punt on Karthik as captain, and clearly that hasn't worked. And they're trying to course correct now.
Right. Akash, looking at the players in that Kolkata squad, it's a squad you were a part of a while ago, of course. But looking at that squad, Morgan is the only one who really stands out as a captaincy option. But like Dinesh Karthik hasn't been particularly good with the bat this season, Morgan hasn't either.
See, that's my point, because two aspects to it. One, is Kolkata actually faring that badly? They have won 4 games out of 7. They are in the top 4 teams today. They are playing against the Mumbai Indians. I'm pretty sure that this decision was communicated to the team, not today, but definitely 2-3 days earlier, because they had a gap of sorts between the 2 games. So this is not the news that you want to hear when you're actually heading towards the ground and you're preparing for the match. That's point one. Secondly, if you've won 4 out of 7, you're actually you're fairly decently placed in a league where a lot of teams are struggling. There are only 2-3 teams who have looked good. Others have struggled. You have struggled less. Thirdly, when you look at the performances of both the players, of course, Dinesh Karthik hasn't had a great season, but he did score that 50 that allowed them to reach to a score which was defendable in the end and was defended. That was against Kings 11 Punjab. On Morgan hasn't really set the world on fire either. So when that's the case, you should stick to halfway through. You should stick to your Indian captain. If you're looking for a change, a radical thought, then start looking for the future. If you think that this season is not going to be, we can't turn it around, even though there is no need to be honest, they've done well. Some ends have justified the means. We've all been critical. Why hold back Sunil Narine? Why this and why that? But they did win 2 games that they should have lost under Dinesh Karthik's captaincy. Whether it was acceptable or not to a lot of people from the outside, the result will tell you that he actually is that genius who figured it all, which others could not. So I don't see a reason why he should have been removed. If they were to have a change, Shubman Gill would have been my choice. That go radical, then start thinking about the next season.
I just come back to you, Akash. What we were talking about, I just want to tell our viewers, just give the numbers that we are talking about. Dinesh Karthik, 7 matches, 7 innings, 108 runs, average of just 15 and a bit. Strike rate 136.7. Now EoinMorgan again 7 innings, often slightly below Karthik on the list, but 175 runs. That's a better average, but a much poorer strike rate of 129. So like Sambit was saying, Akash, you first need to get in the team, and you wonder if, keeping everything in mind, like Dinesh Karthik was probably a forced sort of option. EoinMorgan is a forced option as well. Maybe in an ideal situation, he wouldn't have been in the 11.
See, if you want to take that decision, take it before the season starts. Of course, now you're punting that, we've picked an English captain. a World Cup winning captain. He is someone who's going to transform the brand of cricket that you play, and then that's fine. That's acceptable that you are making that change halfway through. It does not sit right with me. And you're going with an overseas captain. We've already seen overseas captains or teams with overseas captains struggling and finding a way. There is another team already in the tournament. If you were to ask me, Rajasthan Royals, first 2 games for Smith, outstanding,
Absolutely.
6 innings in a row. And to be honest, with overseas recruits, Shamu and Sambit, you always have a like for like kind of replacement ready. You have about 8-9 overseas players. Same can't be said about the Indian players. So if Morgan was failing, for example, there is a Tom Banton waiting. You can actually play him in place of Morgan. But you can't do that
But
now because your hands are tied.
but maybe we should take it at face
Samit, let me
value
just
and
take that to you.
no,
Okay,
I was
go
saying
on.
maybe
Go on.
we should take it at face value and believe that Karthik actually really voluntarily quit and he really wants to focus on his batting. Well,
And the
That's okay.
other thing is, like Akash is
I
saying,
mean, it has
maybe it's
happened
something
before.
we
It has
discussed
happened before.
before the season. Who knows if it who knows if it was discussed that you take 7 games, figure things out. It's probably something I don't know if Akash knows. It's not something we know about offhand. But Samit, let me just bring that to you. One of the points Akash was making about changing captains mid-season. The precedents we have on that are not particularly bad. There have been a couple of decent performers. Rohit Sharma taking over from Ponting, especially a masterstroke, you'd say in hindsight.
I mean, Ponting made that decision himself, and yeah, it was a masterstroke because but in that case you had an Indian captain taking over from a uh, international captain and a batsman at the prime of his form, which is not the case here. So it's a decision. I don't think either. It's not an ideal scenario for KKR, and we don't really know why it has happened, but it has happened now, and I think they couldn't really go to anybody in mid-season. Could they have gone to Subman Gill? Yes, that's an interesting thought, and it would have been in a sense. It's not like Rohit Sharma, but if you wanted to take the team forward from next year, then maybe Gill is the guy.
That's what I also thought, Sambit, because see, the team is not faring that poorly. So if you're going to now change your thought and direction moving forward, is this a forward-looking decision? Because at this point in time, did they need to change? Face value, yeah, what you mentioned, if Dinesh Karthik really wanted to quit, that's fine. You can't argue with that then. But if he did not want to quit, and 9 out of 10 times, like we've played cricket, we've interacted with enough people, and they would tell you, no, halfway through, we are not hardwired to leave it and go.
Yeah.
We are sports people who are told and drilled into us, and this is what we become, that we can turn it around. If it's my form, my team's form, I'm not leaving it halfway. I'm not leaving it for somebody else to now rescue the ship. I'm not deserting the ship. If you made me the leader, I'm going to be there right till the end, even if we lose. So I'm certainly on that side, that this is a decision that eventually gets communicated in a fashion that a player has decided on his own that I want to go, but it's never his decision. I'd be very surprised if Dinesh wanted to leave. Numbers.
Sorry, what happened? No, sorry. I'll, no, because we're not live, right?
I think Shamo's connection is giving some trouble, Sambit. I feel, but so
I got
he's back.
kicked out. Are we still live?
Yeah, Sambit doesn't like you enough, Shamo, so he's kicked you out.
Okay. I think we've messed up a bit. It is going live, and apologies for that. Some internet problems, some tech problems. But how do you see this panning out now, Akash? The decision has been taken. From what you said or suggested, KKR might not be the only team thinking about this. We might hear another announcement in the next few hours or days or whatever it is, or not. But how do you see this panning out?
Nothing changes in my opinion, because this team has done all right. It's not really struggling. It's not Kings 11 Punjab sitting at the bottom of the table and figuring out a new way to approach things. They have won 4 out of 7, which is a fairly good return. One more win tonight, they'll be at par with number 2 and number 3. So if that's how good you are, or even if fortune has favored you a few times, well, who's going to complain about it in the end? A lot of things are not going to change. Dinesh Karthik will still be playing. Maybe Morgan will start batting slightly higher up the order. Whether it's a good thing or a bad thing, we'll get to know in the end. Of course, we want Morgan to actually, because the way he entered the tournament, you felt that he should be given more opportunities. But then there were a couple of innings in the interim where we felt, okay, he also did not click. So when you look at it from all those vantage points, and it's not just the captain's decision. See, that's another thing that we need to understand about the IPL. That it's not just the captain who's deciding, okay, he gets promoted, he goes down the order. There is a full think tank that gets involved. Of course, it's the captain who gets the stick in the end, but it is not because without consultation. It's the leadership by committee, especially if you're not Chennai Super Kings, where Dhoni might just be the only guy. Even in Mumbai Indians, I feel that Rohit's decisions will be influenced by the people around him. So Kolkata expect nothing else.
Perhaps
Absolutely.
this will do one thing. Sorry.
Yeah.
I said perhaps it'll do one thing. It might just clarify their batting order, in the sense that they haven't, despite sort of being where they are in the points table, I don't think they've got their batting order right from the start. So this might just settle their batting order, where Morgan comes at 4, Russell comes at 5, and I think Karthik coming at 6, just with a completely clear mind. That might actually help them.
The thing is that of the two, and I know I'm going back to something we've already discussed. Of the two, Karthik is probably more assured of a place in the 11 as wicketkeeper.
That's true, actually. That's true. That's true. But what
that ship has sailed now.
But what Samrit is saying, I think getting the team composition right is something that they have to really focus on. Sunil Naran has not been banned, so he should be playing. Rahul Tripathi should be opening. And you should be playing at least 6 bowling options, something that worked for them. But for whatever reason, they went back to 5, and that too in a place like Sharjah. And that's where they actually fell short quite miserably against a good unit. Let's be fair, Delhi Capitals is one of the better sides in the tournament. So losing to them is no shame. But they do need to get your composition
And it
right.
will help if Andre Russell hits a few 15-ball 50s.
Absolutely. There's no replacement for Andre Russell. There's no chance.
Before wrapping up, it's again something that we were talking about. It's not one person. In fact, Akash will remember well the time even captaincy was not a one-person job at KKR. You remember that, but we won't go there right now. But it is a team. It is a team that's taking those decisions. And if the captain is to get the credit and the blame, Dinesh Karthik has actually won 2 games from completely unwinnable situations. So those should go in his favor. But still, it's not one person. Do we sometimes do too much when it comes to the captain and changing the captain? Of course, you can't send the coach back home midway or something, but still.
I mean, IPL is very different from playing for India. Certainly, it's not only the coach; it's the coaching staff. It's sometimes the CEO, and who knows, even the owners. Yeah, so we don't really know. We will never know the full story unless somebody comes and tells us what really happened. So yeah, that's what I want to just take it at face value.
Absolutely. Hope things work well for the team from here. I mean, all teams, of course, but here's a team that's made a decision. They should stick by it, of course, and hope it comes true. If that happens, there's going to be flurry of activity at the top of that points table. Akash Chopra, Sambit Bal, thank you for joining us on ESPN Newsroom for now. Thanks for watching.
Thanks.